Hi there, I'm Elvira. I'm speaking to you from Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. For about 2 months, there were very strict measures to movement of people in this country, with the authorities introducing curfew hours and bans of going outdoors for people under 18 and older than 65. Quite early, the airports closed and there were state-facilitated quarantines for people who would enter Bosnia and Herzegovina. There were also quarantines at the borders, with hundreds of people being ordered to self-isolate for 2 weeks. Due to these very strict measures, the virus did not spread as much, luckily, and there were so far about 2,500 confirmed cases of COVID-19, with around 150 people who died. At the beginning of this pandemic crisis in Europe, I was in London, where I am currently studying. But at the beginning of April, I managed to return home. It wasn't easy, as there were almost no flights and the airports were closed, as they still are. However, from my personal experience, I can say that authorities of Bosnia and Herzegovina, due to these fears of spread of the virus, sent a clear message to its citizens abroad that they should not return home in the time of crisis. At the same time, authorities of other countries in general tried to help their citizens come back home. And it was a bit odd to see our authorities sending this kind of message. But eventually some institutions did help. Speaking of what did the authorities do here among these strict measures, it is worth mentioning some attempts to hamper freedom of expression and freedom of media, which is not the sole case. You can find such examples in Serbia and Hungary, and it is in a way characteristic for Eastern Europe, these autocratic measures to limit freedom of expression. For example, a new legislation about spreading panic during the coronavirus pandemic gave jurisdiction to the Republika Srpska entity Interior Ministry to fine anyone they thought was spreading disinformation on social networks, which also resulted in sanctioning some critical voices. Similar legislation was introduced in one canton too, and in one Sarajevo municipality, but it was withdrawn due to heavy criticism of it limiting freedom of expression. Also, those in charge of running the show related to the handling of this crisis set up a model of informing the public in a way that they would have press conferences, but without journalists and without a possibility to ask questions. After criticism from the media, it was possible to send questions by email beforehand and for a few journalists to be present respecting physical distancing. The physical distancing is what was, of course, ordered for everyone. So families did not see each other for weeks. And of course, it was hard for people here because family bonds are very strong and people spend a lot of time together usually. Bosnians and Herzegovinians are known also for their humor, which was the thing that kept everyone's spirits up a bit during these hard times. However, I think that the psychological state of people should be among the top concerns now. I know this was a problem everywhere, but I fear it should be taken to a special concern here in this country that still did not fully recover from a war it went out from 25 years ago. Another big problem is the economy, which was weak even before all this. Many branches of the economy are devastated now. Many small businesses did not survive the lockdown. And we should be also aware that in the last 5 years, this country was drained, with tens of thousands of people leaving for Western Europe in search of better job opportunities. On top of all of this, journalists revealed enormous cases of irregularities and corruption surrounding buying of medical equipment and the so much needed respirators for the already weak and poor health system in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In short, all these wounds this country had, like corruption and weak economy, now just multiplied, unfortunately. They will set this country back. Just a few days ago, some measures were withdrawn and some aspects of previous life started to come back. Like the public transport working again after about 2 months. Some businesses opened, but with new protocols, of course, that include wearing masks and gloves and additional disinfection. But hey, it seems like it's all getting better, and we have to work now to make things even better than they were before and that they are now.